They paid for her treatment, they paid to put her down, and they buried her. I mean, this was, talk about getting back to Black Beauty, the ignorant owner who would never have been abusive, but just didn't know. So your responsibility as a horse owner is to educate yourself about the needs of that animal. That's your responsibility, and there's enough information out there, whether it be from your vet, the feed store, the internet, the library, books. It's everywhere. Okay, so getting back to, this argument that if we end horse slaughter, they're going to be neglected in people's backyards. Neglect is about irresponsibility and laziness. It has nothing to do with money, where slaughter is all about money. And slaughter promotes, in some cases, promotes cruelty. Anyone who's attended one of these low-end auctions can tell you about horses that need to be put down, but people have kept them alive so they can send them to the sale to get the last dollars out of them. Or they've sent them there because that's the only means of disposal they know. Okay, so, we enforce our laws against selling sick, lame, and debilitated horses. We're going to keep a lot of horses from going to slaughter. I mean, this horse here, he at some point injured his stifle. Nobody fixed it. It probably couldn't be fixed. He ended up getting contracted tendons. He went through a sale in North Carolina before he was shipped up here to Pennsylvania. If slaughter didn't exist, he wouldn't have been shipped up here. He was shipped here because of slaughter. And same with like this mare here. Lab's got the max fine on her because the owner, Michael Smith, sat there and told the judge what a good horse person he was. He got all these certificates and how much knowledge he had. And so the judge slammed it to him because you're so knowledgeable, you should have known. That mare looked that way because they failed to take care of her teeth. That's what happened to her. And she ended up getting abscessed teeth that ended up channeling into her jawbone. Okay? And again, if slaughter didn't exist, she wouldn't have been sent there. There would have been no incentive. But slaughter, that's what, slaughter promotes cruelty. It's an incentive for it. This horse here could barely breathe. His respiration was 50. His heart rate was 90. And the vet at New Holland gave him steroids so a rescue could take him home. And that's when the SPCA agent was, saying, well, I'm investigating. There is no investigating. You take that horse into custody, you take him down to New Bolton. Here's an example. Labs took this horse into custody, took it down to New Bolton Center, and had the vets collect the evidence. This horse was going to be taken home and do what? If that's what I talk about, the chain of evidence. If he's your evidence, you need to take custody of him. Okay, you need to protect it so that nobody can do anything to it. Because if you leave it there or you let it go place, the defense attorney is going to attack your case and say what happened. Anybody could have done anything to this horse. So, but that's, here's another case where this horse had laminitis. And the vet testified that he never would have gotten through the ring without the drugs that they gave him. And he died of renal failure because of the drugs they gave him. Slaughter promoted that. So, again, I think it's our responsibility as horse owners, horse lovers, that we need to stand up and take action. We need to start educating, people coming into horses. The horse industry is a breed 'em, trash 'em, can 'em attitude. Okay, I grew up with horses, showing and training them, and I was admonished since I was 8 years old. Don't fall in love with your horse. Don't fall in love with your horse because as your riding skills improve, you got to move on to a new one. Don't worry, your horse will find a good home with someone else who's learning. Okay, and then what? What happens when he keeps getting older? Who's going to make the commitment to that horse? Who's, at the end of his line, every time he's sold, he's older and he's developing unsoundnesses. Because just like us, they're getting arthritis. And horses are performance animals, so they're going to get arthritis. If you, the one that this horse has given his life to, the best years of his life, if you don't want to make the commitment to him, what makes you think somebody else is? If you're unwilling to stand there and put him down, why do you think somebody else would? And the people who end up owning these horses at the end of their lives are often the people with the least amount of financial resources and the least amount of knowledge. I had somebody from Laps tell me a long time ago, because when I first started boarding retired horses, one of the owners was saying, I'm going to be retiring and I can't afford my horse anymore. I'm going to have to put him down. And I was like, well, we can find a home for him. And this woman at Laps said, Chris, this horse does well because you know how to manage him. But when you get to other people, who's going to want this horse? He's not rideable, he's hard to catch. Experienced people don't want him. So the people with the least amount of knowledge may take him, and he's not going to do well. And when it came to, kind of shaping my view on slaughter and on cruelty and what we can do, it was the people who board their retired horses with me who really shaped my views. Because these people, and they're not all wealthy, and their horses come from all different backgrounds, they make the commitment to their horses. They say, I would never think of not taking care of them. They're my responsibility. And they don't dump them on the American public. When it comes time to put them down, they don't expect somebody else to do it. Horse rescue, all it's done is move the trash can from the auctions to the rescues. And why should a small minority of people be the ones making the decision to put these horses down? Whether we're talking small animals, large animals, you can only kill so many before you can't take it anymore. And it's not fair, it's not right. And I think strongly that until we make horse owners accountable and responsible through enforcing our cruelty laws, through, making them, if we outlaw slaughter, when you offer your horse for sale, the dealer's not going to come pick him up. Because if he can't get rid of him by selling him to slaughter, he's not going to pick him up. He's not going to lose money. So you are going to be the one who's going to be forced to either pay to retire him or put him down. And if you have overused this horse, abused this horse, and crippled him at age 7, then you stand there and you watch this beautiful 7-year-old die. And I don't think people will watch too many beautiful 7-year-olds, and little Susie will watch her beautiful hunter jumper drop too many times before they start saying, wait a minute, we got to change what we're doing. Quarter horses got to stop breeding navicular horses that go lame at 7 to 10 years of age. Right now, there's no incentive. Why should they stop? The rescues come and take them off their hands. People, they break the luxury toy and they dump them on the rescues, and then they go out and buy another $5,000 horse, come up here to the expo, shopping all around. Do they ever remember you guys? Do they ever come and donate to the rescues? No. There's no responsibility, there's no accountability. And, I think until we change that, we're not going to fix the problem. And that's, I look at fixing a problem and changing it instead of just chasing our tails. And I try, I have people say, my little girl wants to learn to ride, and I think, well, where can I send her? Where can I send her to a trainer who's not going to say to her, don't fall in love with your horse? How many little girls, when they want to start to ride, think about